I was thinking about Jesus and Krishna. Something about Jesus's name lately, I've just been like really like meditating on it and specifically on how it's pronounced in Spanish, Jesus. And I just think about Jesus, like hey, Zeus. And I'm thinking about Zeus, the Greek god. He was the ruler of all the other gods, and how that's basically what Krishna, Vishnu, is the ruler of all the other gods. I never noticed that Jesus's name, the Spanish pronunciation is Jesus, and how I that can't be a coincidence. I watched this video by this Hindu woman, and she was saying, bringing up some of the same things I think I brought up to you guys when I first started really getting into Krishna consciousness about the similarities between Jesus and Krishna and their pastimes. They are the same person, or I should say, not same person, same personality, but Jesus is told through the lens of a different culture. Who Jesus actually is Krishna, but told through, but the stories, his pastimes were changed through time and adapted to be able to relate to certain people in a certain place. There was one pastime that she mentioned, the way she presented that I really found, I really realized like, oh, like that makes sense. And she was talking about how basically Jesus was foretold to be born to be the son of God, but is also God himself. And that relates to Krishna. Krishna was foretold to be born as the incarnation of God himself, the son of God, but also God is also Krishna. God is the incarnation of Vishnu. Same thing, same personality. And then both of them foretold their own death, ascension into heaven. When she put it that way, I hadn't quite made it that far in my studies to be able to see the connection between Krishna's ascent and Jesus's ascent, and how those are both, according to what she shared, those are both parallel. Now, the thing about Jesus dying on the cross, that's interesting. I haven't come across any pastime that's similar to that in Hinduism, but who knows what I may discover in the future. What I later discovered after doing some more research into this is that Krishna was killed by a poacher who mistook him for an animal and shot him with an arrow that struck his foot, from which Krishna obviously bled. And it's interesting because Jesus was nailed to the cross with nails in his feet, from which he bled, and also nailed from his hands, from which he bled. And of course, there's things that are different from the Bible and the Hindu text, but there's so many things that are similar. It's like they can't not be talking about the same personality. And I feel like this is such a touchy subject because so many people take the Bible at its word for word and see any contradiction of it or any criticism of it to be blasphemous. That's the problem with Christianity, is that there's this precedent and culture around not questioning it. Whereas in Vedic culture, you question you question everything. The whole point is to understand and to learn and to understand the absolute truth. And so everything can be questioned. There's a, there's question like in the bhakti program after the elder teaches or shares or gives his sermon, there's questions. You can ask questions. They're like, hey, do you have any questions? The my Sangha's guru is coming from India next week. He's going to be in Austin next week, and I'll get to meet him. And I'm so excited. And everyone keeps saying, think about what questions you have for Guru. And I'm just like, none. I do not remember ever growing up in church and being told, hey, what questions? Think about what questions you want to ask the pastor. If anything, it was like be quiet, don't ask questions. And so because of that, I feel some resistance at times, making these comparisons or criticisms of the Bible because of that conditioning there. But I know that it needs to be done, and I know that it's important for our growth and progression as Christians because I feel like Christianity is stunted in so many ways because of this. Anything that cannot be questioned cannot truly be helpful or valuable. Obviously, I'm still very much at the beginning of my journey with Krishna consciousness, but for a while I've been wondering like, okay, what role does Jesus in the Bible have to play? How does Jesus relate? Are they the same personality as Krishna or not? I acknowledge that I know very little, and I don't know that I can say any of this for 100% sure. But I hope and I do feel that over time I will come to an understanding about the truth in regards to Jesus and Krishna. Irregardless, I do believe that Jesus is a divine personality and that Jesus was not a human just like the rest of us. I believe that Jesus was a personality, a divine transcendental personality, and that they're important lessons that he came to teach us. And regardless of all the other stuff that the Bible says, I do feel that the lessons of Jesus are incredibly valuable. And I don't think I would let those go. I feel like the pure teachings of Jesus are indeed very, very similar and in alignment with a lot of the Vedic teachings and traditions. I would say that I think Jesus was actually quite strict and in what he proposed if we were to look at them in the context of like modern day Kali Yuga living. I think it just shows how far we've gotten from the truth, from being good people, that even Jesus's teachings are seen as like, oh, that's intense, or oh, well, I don't, or like, oh, you really do all that, or oh, well, that was a long time ago, or whatever. It actually wasn't that long ago, but anyway, I'll just leave that there. I'm curious, your guys' thoughts on this. I just want to really thank you for watching. And I just like want to offer the caveat again that I am by no means an expert. I don't know anything. I don't have all the answers, and that I recommend that you go to your guru, your spiritual God, your spiritual master, and I pray to God that they are legit and they are bona fide and they're not misguiding you, because there's so much misguidance out there. But I share my ruminations and my reflections in a hope that they get you to critically think about religion, about spirituality, that they helped you to grow and to also not be afraid to question things, because what's the point of, being here if we can't seek to really understand why we're here, how this all works, and I just can't help but do that. So, thank you for watching. If you have questions, thoughts, anything like that, feel free to share and leave a comment. And God bless. Hare Krishna.